The Mangalacharan together. Yastyakva rupamatyam prabhavati jagato anekadhanugrahaya prakshina klesharashirvishamavishadharo anekavaktra subhogi सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिर्भुजगपरिकरा प्रीतये यस्य नित्यम् देवो हि सहसौ अव्यात् सितविमलतनुर्योगदो योगयुक्तः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Gently bow your head down. Bring yourself to the class. Prepare yourself for the session. When you're ready, gently lift your head up. Open your eyes. External eyes. Namaskaram. We will do the chanting of all the sutras till the last sutra. We finished till sutra number 24. In 25, did we start 25? I think we just did the chanting. So we will, 25, we have completed. Yes? 25 and 26, 27 we will see today. 25, 26 and 27. So Jalpaji will take the first 5 sutras. Hiteshji from 6 to 10. And Lisa ji will take from 10 to 15. Rana ji 16 to 20. And Oredji, you will take us till 25. Thank you.
Atha yoganuशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्ति निरोधः तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे अवस्थानं वृत्ति स्वरूप्यम् इतरत्र वृत्तयः पंचतयः क्लिष्टा क्लिष्टा
प्रमाणा विपर्याय विकल्प निद्रा स्मृतयः प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगमः प्रमाणानि विपर्यायो मिथ्यज्ञानम् अतद्रूपा प्रतिष्ठम् शब्दज्ञानानुपाति वस्तुशून्ये विकल्पः अभाव प्रत्यय आलम्बना वृत्तिर्निद्रा
अनुभूता विषय असंप्रमोषः स्मृतिः अभ्यास वैराग्यप्यं तन्निरोधः तत्र चित्तौ यत्नो अभ्यासः सा तु दीर्घकालनैरन्तर्यसपरसेवितो हृदभूमिः दृष्टानुश्रविकविषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकरसं च वैराग्यम्
तत्परं पुरुषख्यातेर्गुणवैतृष्ण्यम् वितर्क विचार आनन्दास्मितारूप अनुगामात् सम्प्रज्ञातः विराम प्रत्यय अभ्यासपूर्वः संस्कारशेषोऽन्यः भव प्रत्ययो विदेह प्रकृति अलया नमः श्रद्धा वीर्य स्मृति समाधि प्रज्ञा पूर्वक इतरेषाम्
तीव्रासाम् अविगनामसनाः मृदु मद्यादिमत्रत्वत्ततोऽपि विससा ईश्वरा प्रणिदनाद्वः क्लेशा कर्म विपकस्यैर्परंस्ता पुरुष विवेश ईश्वरः Tatra niratyam sarvajnantva bijaham.
Yes. So in the last class, we discussed about Ishvara. Who is Ishvara?
Like absolute God, supreme God.
Yes, Supreme God. And God, Ishvara, is a Mukta Purusha, means never in bondage, always has been free. And that separates Ishvara from other Purushas. This is the only one difference of yoga philosophy we need to always remember, that it talks about Ishvara, that other Purushas may attain liberation because they were in bondage. But Ishvara has always been mukta or liberated, has never been in any kind of bondage. We will chant Sutra 25. Tatra niratishayam sarvajya bijam
Tatra nirtisham
सर्वज्ञबीजम्
Tatra niratishayam sarvajya bijam
Tatra
निरतिशयं सर्वजन् बीजम्
Bija.
Tatra. Yes, Tatra, that is in whom, in him, Tatra, in him, Niratishayam, extension or such which is not exceeded. Sarvajya is of the omniscient, knower of everything. Bijam is seed. So in him, the seed of the omniscient is not exceeded. What does this translate into? It simply means Ishvara is the highest limit of knowledge. Sarvajya. Jya, dhatu roop in Sanskritam, relates with knowledge. Jnana, said in Sanskritam, in other languages, Jnana in Hindi or Jnana in South Indian languages. But Jya has to do with knowledge. So Ishvara is the highest form of knowledge. There is none higher. In the last class, we also discussed there is also no one equal to Ishvara. That means there is no equal nor any higher. The last limit of expansion is Ishvara. So we try to decipher, we try to understand so many things throughout life as the human race. But we always say that there is something we still don't know. There is still the infinity. There is still something that needs to be reached. So the end point of this understanding is Ishvara as per this sutra. Let's look at the Sanskrit commentary. I hope we are able to see the screen. From this sutra onwards, we will also try to have the Drishya Samskara. So just try to look at the Sanskrit translation. Yes. Kim cha tatra niratishayam sarvajya bijam yadidamati tanagata pratyutpanna pratyeka samuchayati indriya grayanamam alpam bhayiti sarvajya bijam meta द्विव अर्ध मानम यत्र निरतिशयम स सर्वज्ञः अस्ति काष्ठा प्राप्तिः सर्वज्ञ बीजस्य सातिशय यत्वात् परिणामावादिति यत्र काष्ठा प्राप्तिर जानस्य स सर्वशः स च पुरुष विशेष इति. So we talked about Purusha Vishesha, special Purusha. Ishvara is also known as special Purusha. Yes. So this Purusha Vishesha next to Ishvara is equal to Purusha Vishesha. Please make a note on this sutra. Samanya matrotpanna sahare cha krutopakshaya manam na vishesham pratipattau samartham iti tasya संजाति विशेष प्रतिपत्ति राग मतः पर्यन्वेष्य तस्यात्मान गृह्य भावे अपि भूतानुग्रह प्रयोजनम ज्ञान धर्मो उपदेशेन कल्प प्रलय महाप्रलयेषु संसारिणः पुरुषानुद्ध ऋष पुरुष अनुरुद्धश्यम इति तथा च uktam is choktam or spoken. So another point that has been talked about in this sutra is kalpa, pralaya and mahapralaya. Kalpa means time has been discussed in this sutra. So Ishvara is said to be beyond the time. What is one quality of Ishvara? Ishvara is not limited by time, not limited by kalpa or pralaya. Pralaya is destruction of Mahapralaya. That is the ultimate destruction. When we look at, the Srishti or in a very common sense, we talk about the earth. We saw that in the last class also we discussed it constantly being created and destructed. So Ishvara is someone who has been observing this creation and destruction. Creation of Jiva, creation of the Srishti. So somebody who is a witness to the creation and destruction, both is neither limited by creation and does not end by destruction. So somebody who is beyond time is Ishvara. And what can be beyond time? Something which is continuous. Something which is observing the time. So Ishvara has been that witness, that knowledge as we translate, and Sarvajya Bijam. So Ishvara is simply translated as the knowledge of all the times that there has been the destruction and creation. We talked in the previous lessons too. Ishvara is related with what? Highest form of knowledge. It is said that Kapila Muni, the founder of Sankhya, was revealed with the knowledge. So Ishvara Krupa or Ishvara being happy is what? Knowledge revealing itself to us. We are not that strong to procure the knowledge. We are not that strong to simply listen and once understand all the knowledge. We are only strong and capable of making ourselves as the purest instrument that the knowledge that is known to us, Sarvajya Bijam, the seed of the Ishvara, reveals itself in us. So when we talk about Ishvara, we talk about the ultimate expansion, the highest form of knowledge of what? Of everything which is in present, everything in the past, how many times there have been creation and destruction. And also we discussed in the previous lessons that knowledge of the future, of what is to come next. So sometimes, very simple example, when we want to rise up early in the morning the next day. We don't know how, but sometimes without the alarm, we rise on the same time. Have we experienced this, all of us? But our senses were completely withdrawn. We were in a state of deep sleep. Nothing was the topic of the senses from whatever time you went off to bed to the time you got up. Then how did you manage to wake up on the same time? Who had the knowledge of this time? Who knew that this is the exact number of hours from where I'm going to sleep and the time that I want to rise? So when I rise and after me the alarm rings, so this Sarvajya Bijam means the seed of Ishvara. This knowing or going beyond time is also within me. It's just that when I'm extremely determined, it is helping me. A small amount of it is able to empower me. When I am strong in determination, I want nothing else, but I want to wake up on that very time. I know it's a crisis situation for me if I do not. So no matter what happens, tomorrow morning I want to wake up at 4 a.m., for example. You want to go somewhere. It's a pilgrimage. You know you have to, otherwise there might be a challenge. So who wakes you at this time? Who keeps the record of this time? It is you who keeps this record of time, who is beyond time, above time. This seed, bija, is present within you or present within us. We have already discussed this. Now, further, the last line says, Adi vidvani vidvan nirmana chittam disthaya karunyad bhagvad param rishtam. I apologize, I don't have the text with me. Karunyad bhagwadvan paramrishtam Suraye Jigyasamanaya Tantram Provacheti, as we've just discussed that. Adi Vidvan Neem Marnam Chittam Dhisthaya, very big word, talks about many. Adi is to do what in Sanskritam? Before. Adi Vidvan Nirman. Vidvan Nirman. Nirman is to do with creation. Chittam Dhisthaya. Chittam Adhisthaya is the Sandhi in Sanskritam. Karunyad Bhagavan Paramarshi Mara Suraye Jigyasamanaya Tantram Provacheti. So we basically just talk about the Kapila Muni of Sankhya in this sutra and two other important things. One is that Sarvajya Bijam, Bij is within us, Ishvara is beyond time. So just to make a note of this. Now, who is this Ishvara? How can we reach the Ishvara? Now that I know where is this Ishvara, the seed is in me also. How can I realize this Ishvara within me? Further, that we will see. In this text, which is Ramaprasad's commentary, can you see the word which I have marked? It's in a very old Sanskrit. Read this as a. If you understand, try to read this commentary. This doesn't look like a because it's in old Sanskrit, but in Devanagari, this will read as a. So just I will tell you smaller notes to make. You can read it later. And therefore, we see in the commentary also, let's just quickly go through it. The seed of the omniscient is the larger or smaller knowledge of the individual, the collective or the ultra-sensuous arising out of the past or the future. Whenever this reaches a point in expansion beyond which there is nothing, it is the omniscient. There must be the highest limit of the expansion of the seed of omniscience, inasmuch as there is larger or smaller manifestation of intelligence. We took an example of smaller manifestation of this intelligence when we talked about the time when we wake up. Just as it is in the case of dimension, wherever knowledge reaches the highest limit, that is the omniscient and that is the distinct or special Purusha known as Ishvara. Inference is of service only in establishing the general idea. It has not the power of giving the special qualities. The knowledge of his distinctive names and so on is to be sought out of the Vedas. Although Ishvara has no purpose of his own to fulfill by his creation, is purposed by compassion for other beings. I shall lift the Purusha in evolution out of the world by teaching them knowledge and virtue throughout the manifestations or kalpas, the latencies or pralayas and the great latencies, which is Mahapralayas. This is what he proposes to himself. And so it has been said, the first wise being, the revered great sage, informed a self-made mental vehicle out of compassion and gave the teaching to Asuri who wished to know. So what does this Ishvara hold then? If there is all the knowledge, why there is again the creation and destruction happening again and again? What is it that why is it that some people are liberated while they are not? When a person reaches the highest point in being the instrument for the knowledge, Ishvara expresses, Ishvara, that is knowledge, is expressed through compassion. So who is holding compassion towards us? Knowledge. Knowledge holding compassion towards the one who is the seeker. So seeker is not seeking the knowledge. Knowledge chooses with whom I have to be with. In one of the greatest traditions that we see, especially when we talk about Punjab, it's one of the regions in India where there have been many gurus and shishyas. So one of the gurus said that, especially in the tradition of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, it was discussed that he had his son in the tradition and other people too. So in this tradition, the teacher did not decide to give the knowledge to the son, but decided to give the Brahma Vidya or knowledge to the student. So the son spent the entire life thinking that since birth, I've been in service of my father. I have tried to do everything, not only as a father, but also my teacher, looking at my father. Then why is it that this knowledge of liberation and his next disciple or somebody to replace him was chosen as somebody other than me? While it was genetic to me, or I have been the closest to him, he has himself molded me or trained me, then why it was somebody else? He had this question for a long time. When this religious leader who was chosen next, when this very son of the former teacher, religious leader, goes to his home and observes him in, compassion, complete devotion, he thinks to himself, he just comes back home and he says that, Father, I now realize the person that you have chosen is extremely compassionate or extremely kind. I have seen him, touching back the feet of the people who touched his feet. And with zero sense of ego, how could somebody be as, with the least ego, not even as much as the amount of a grass blade, such less ego? So, when he comes home and he discusses with his father, the mother of or the wife of this religious leader is also listening. She talks to her husband. It says that you may have chosen your other disciple to give the complete knowledge, but it is my wish that you make our son the rightful heir to all the knowledge that you have. And he continues. So when this was done, now there had become two different, groups of the same knowledge. Perhaps Zoom has forgotten our meeting time. So in case, just an interruption, in case we log out, please try to log in again. Yes. So when in this tradition, the father, then the religious teacher, had no choice to but also share the knowledge with the son. So now there were two parallel traditions, same knowledge taught by father to the son and knowledge taught by a great teacher to the greatest disciple. So anybody who studied with both these teachers, grew differently. They always, realize that more than the son, the disciple is able to take hold of this knowledge. And the son observed this for 20 years, 30 years. And he said, Father, I teach the same thing that you do. And your disciple also, whom you chose to give all the knowledge, shares the same thing. Why is it that he has helped many students go beyond samsara. And why not me? What is the reason for this? So the father says it was the wish of the knowledge to whom it had to be expressed. So it's not up to you, or it's not up to me that as my son I give the knowledge to you. It is up to the blessings or kripa of Ishvara, where the knowledge wants to stay. The knowledge may visit you for some time, but it will not stay for a longer time. So wherever the knowledge, the compassion, wherever there was a purity of the instrument, that was the place where this knowledge was expressed. So he said, even if you have what I have taught you, people who study with him will have spiritual experiences more. Whatever he shares with them, they will experience something known as Vairagya Lakshmi. What is Vairagya Lakshmi? This will also answer the one of the questions, Puruji had. Yes, Puruji, we discussed some time back about a question in general spiritual growth. And Vairagya Lakshmi, this is a new term for us today. What is this Vairagya Lakshmi? Just being in the company of a Mukta Purush, the liberated one. The disciple who is not liberated, if such a person goes with any wish to such a teacher or a guru, the wish becomes complete or is fulfilled. Which means if we go to a teacher who is liberated, who is, the knower of the Brahman, in the company of such a teacher, there goes a student who wants the highest amount of artha, that is wealth. This student starts becoming prosperous and richer. I will mention this again, this experience, try to hold this. There is something known as Vairagya or dispassion, first stage. Wherever Vairagya or dispassion, disinterest meets us, when everything is fine, we are not interested in progressing ahead in it. This Vairagya translates later into Vairagya Lakshmi, which means this Vairagya starts bringing different levels of prosperity to us. First level of prosperity this Vairagya brings is a lot of wealth. Second prosperity it brings is prosperity of relationships. So in the beginning, you may feel, oh, I don't feel like connecting with anyone. I don't feel like being a part of the entire system, or sometimes my family, my children, my parents, my husband or wife, no matter how much I love them, I don't see a purpose staying with them. This is weak Vairagya. This is also Vairagya or dispassion. But this is not complete Vairagya or dispassion. Why? Because Vairagya brings Lakshmi or prosperity next. In this state of Vairagya, when you're listening to the scriptures or when you're studying, you start smiling with this Vairagya. You start realizing, oh, I'm actually able to serve better all the people around me, and I'm so unaffected by everything. Even when I don't see any purpose, I am fulfilling all my duties as though it's a stream of water. I'm finishing off my karmas by pouring this water in their glasses who are asking different things out of me. They're thirsty for those vasanas. They are thirsty, and I feel like I am a river which is filling all these cups of different kinds of demands that are made out of me, and I simply seem I don't exhaust at all. So after feeling intense dispassion, after staying in this stage for some time, we start feeling within us there is a river, and this is such a river of compassion that is flowing outward, that is filling everybody's cup who is thirsty of some or the other thing from us. And no matter how much we keep on filling, we don't seem to end. When this stage occurs, it starts bringing Vairagya Lakshmi with it. Means Vairagya now starts bringing things to me for which I was hankering for a long time. A good relationship with parents, with spouse, with friends in the society, a good material wealth, luxury, so on and so forth. And this Vairagya Lakshmi is the matured state of Vairagya. So much prosperity comes. And it not only comes just by practicing Vairagya, it also comes by being in the physical presence to the one who is in Vairagya. That is a sannyasi or a liberated one. Therefore, you will see many, many greatest of gurus who will have many students who became extremely prosperous in wealth. And that's the reason people go to the temple to ask something. I want this to be done. I want that to be done. Because it is the teja, or I would say it is the energy of the one who is in vairagya or dispassion. That anybody who is samipa or closer to this person sees that all wishes start becoming fulfilled very soon. So we see in yoga also, many gurus, like we have the famous example, Baba Neem Karoli. Any student who goes with any kind of desire to such a great spiritual master, that desire is fulfilled just by being in the presence. Therefore, the royals, the kings, we see many, many people just go for satsang or just go to sit close or be in the proximity or in the same room of the one who is liberated. Just being in their presence and not doing anything brings a lot of vairagya. So anyone from us, whoever meets this stage, feeling dispassion, no purpose, no connection with anyone, please know that the next stage of this is not you feel like you don't fit in here. You will feel like I fit everywhere. And I see that people are only able to fit in very limited space with me. So you will not feel that you don't fit in a certain situation. You will feel that I fit in everywhere. And you will be able to observe the challenge with other people trying to fit in different several spaces. You will observe that whatever is their state of thoughts, you have been right above that long time. And not only above that, you are unaffected. So neither you are very close to them, neither you are far from them. You are just where you are supposed to be, fulfilling your role, how you are supposed to be, with a smile. Whatever they are thirsty of, filling those cups. Just like a person who has been liberated, who himself is not thirsty, but goes on filling in the cups. Now further it is said, okay, this was possible for Kapila, the author of Sankhya, Kapila Muni. How the students go to sage Patanjali and then ask, then how is it possible for us to know this Ishvara? How can we meet the Ishvara? What is the name of this Ishvara? We will see that in the next sutra.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, isn't then Vairagya Lakshmi also a stage, because it is something that one needs to fulfill and continue, and it's all.
No. Vairagya Lakshmi is the first step of compassion by knowledge. Why am I sharing this Vairagya Lakshmi? Why are we talking about Vairagya Lakshmi today? How do we know that this Ishvara has started expressing? What is the response? How do I know? If I am saying I am close to God, how do I know God is responding? Ishvara, how do I know that I am progressing? How I am closer? Just by being in the company of the right Guru. By company means what? Closely staying samipa in the energy, in the vibration of such a Guru. I see that there is Vairagya Lakshmi in me. And why this Vairagya Lakshmi comes to people who have not done anything in life. They have not studied any scripture. They have just been with the greatest of Guru. They first meet a lot of prosperity so that they can rise above prosperity. It happens automatically. The idea is to know that we are not the doer. On the path of liberation, on the path of self-knowledge, we are merely making ourselves the correct subject with the correct object in the correct environment. So three conditions are fulfilled: the subject, object, and the environment. So that's the reason people went to ashramas for study, to fulfill all these three: subject, object, and the. So first I am in the environment and I start observing so many perks in the day-to-day language. We'll call it perks. Everything, just by going to a great guru, I see that things in my life have started being simplified. So I get more encouraged to be with the guru. So nothing is happening. It's just the grace of the guru so that I finish my karmic transactions faster. And after seeing this prosperity, I'm still going to the guru. And after a while, I feel I'm not affected by prosperity. I no more want to be wealthy or rich in any way. In fact, whoever comes to me, I have the inner wealth. They are bestowed with what they want without me interfering. So usually this Vairagya Lakshmi was experienced by students so that they could get over this thought of prosperity by themselves. And even when they got over the thought of prosperity, it was like, I would say, a perk. So it stayed with this person. Now, a person person B who was with the Guru A, this person B could get over the Kama and Artha with the help of Vairagya Lakshmi, met a person C. Now, person C could also experience Vairagya Lakshmi, whether had the knowledge of Shastra or not had the knowledge of Shastra. Therefore, it is important to be with the Guru. That's the reason every day after the part, every day after the classes, even when I teach today, I know it's extremely important for me to go and meet my Guruji at least for 1 hour, 45 minutes. Whatever the time, I have to be there because I have been experiencing a different kind of prosperity, which is not bound by Artha and Kama anymore. So therefore, we see Swami Vivekananda, great student. So teacher may not be known, but the students become very famous or great. And that's what always a teacher will do. Teacher will not put himself or herself first, will put the student up, will give this grace to the student. Because for a Mukta Purush, there is no sense in the world. There is no need for prosperity. There is no need for recognition. Because such a person knows all of this is time bound. All of this will be forgotten. Why I am wasting my effort? It is, as long as I am putting efforts, I am remembered. So it's not a matter of concern, or it's not something that affects a liberated one. So the student is great. That means the teacher was the greatest, but reserved himself or herself only for the student, not for anyone else. And how much time then the student takes to be on the path of liberation? If very close to the Guru, 6 to 7 years. If being far, see, nowadays we are learning this knowledge because of technology. 30 years back, people had to walk from different places to Haridwar and Rishikesh and try to sit with those sannyasis and bow, join hands and ask them, would you please share something? There was no yoga TTC or not even a window where you could have a glimpse of this yogic life. So this knowledge was extremely reserved only for the students. At least because of yoga TTC, we are able to have some window to what the spiritual world is inside. Otherwise, student had to do a walking pilgrimage or 2-3 days journey so that the student does some karma yoga to reach that place. Now the knowledge of Vedanta is available to us. So if whatever the time span is, we need to spend some time with the teacher. So Vairagya then further translates into Vairagya Lakshmi. We go above Vairagya. That's the sign of Vairagya. We will be concluding the session here today. We will continue tomorrow again. We will chant Purnamadaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head down. Feel grateful for this knowledge, this learning. When you're ready, gently lift your head up, open your eyes. Extend. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today. After marriage, the schedule has been little different because there is service to the family, in-laws, everyone. But thank you for understanding this week. I will be in Rishikesh next 10 days, then we will have a good schedule. Please let me know. We need 3 classes in the next week, which days are comfortable for us. So we can, along with Thursday, Friday, 1+ day in the next 4 days, to let us. Dhanyavadam. Hari Om.
Okay, thank you.